Today, I'm going to bring you guys an actionable video about something that I have been asked a lot about in recent weeks, which is how to make AI outbound calls from within GoHighLevel. And first, we will cover the beginner version on, just a very simple example on how to actually trigger or initiate the voice calls. And then afterwards, we will make a full build out on how this could be implemented into your business and how we will implement it into ours too. Let's get into it. Now, how does this work? Well, we can initiate the outbound calls directly from GHL with custom webhooks to VAPI and then to the customer. And a webhook just essentially is a message from HighLevel to VAPI telling VAPI, hey, please trigger the outbound call. Now, we can either just say, hey, please make the call, or the reason why we're using GoHighLevel in combination with VAPI is because we can contain dynamic information within that message to VAPI. And this could be, for example, contact details about the person we're trying to reach, like the first name, their email. And that way we can personalize the call, which makes the customer experience just completely seamless. And now, why would we use GHL? Well, GHL is very, very versatile. It's way more than just funnels and automations. Most importantly, it's a CRM. And obviously, since we have the CRM, we have the contact and lead data, and that way we can personalize the call with the information we already have in the in the system itself. We can also have multiple touch points like SMS, email, and phone number, which can be really useful in workflow scenarios like appointment follow-ups, in which we don't want to just call or SMS or email the customer, but just to hit them on multiple channels. And also sales pipeline. Voice agents alone are cool, but not really useful, and they have to be part of a bigger sales and marketing system. And that's exactly what happens inside of GoHighLevel, because there you can automate the sales pipeline type of things too. This is the very basic version of this workflow, just to demonstrate the use case. We always have at least two parts to a workflow. We have a trigger and then an action which is performed inside of the workflow. In this case, the trigger is a contact tag. So imagine you have a contact in your CRM, and as soon as you add a certain tag to that contact, the workflow is being triggered for that contact, and then the the actions further down the line are being triggered. Obviously, this is not necessarily what you should set up. This is dependent on your business. This is just how I set it up. But what you could do is you could trigger this workflow by, for example, a tag like start outbound form call nurture sequence. Again, at the end of the day, this completely depends on your business. Now, the second part to a workflow is always the action which is being performed. In this case, we only have the custom webhook here. You get to the custom webhook by clicking on the plus and then search custom webhook, and there it is. You would click it. I have it already in place, and that's why I will click in here. And now you can see quite a few things here. The first thing is the action name. This is just how it will be displayed here. You can call this whatever you want. I will call this call start for this video. The event is custom. You have post and get to, but for this purpose, it is important that we have custom. Then the method we use is post. This is also important. And then the URL we want to send our message with, hey, please start the call to, is https api.vapi.ai/call. And if you are using retail, this is going to be different. But if you're using VAPI, this will always be the same. The authorization in this case is a bearer token, and you will obviously select bearer token here. And now we have the actual token, which is the VAPI API key. The way you get to the key is in your VAPI dashboard, and you will just hit API keys, and then you have the private key here, and you will click copy key. Then back in your GoHighLevel account, click the drop down menu here and click create new key. Give it a name. Let's just call it new key, and then paste the value in here and click create. I won't do this because I have my key already here, but this way you save the key and you don't have to input it every time again and again and again. And this is Really handy, really important, and definitely something I would suggest you do. Now, next up, we have headers. We don't need anything here. We also don't need any query parameters. For the content type, this will be automatically selected correctly, but we need application JSON. The other stuff is not important for us right now. And now we have the raw body. This is where the magic actually happens. Now, what you see down here in the raw body is JSON. Please don't get scared. This is where most people just throw everything away because it looks complicated. But if you understand it correctly, it's not complicated at all. Again, what you see here is JSON, and you normally in JSON always have a key and a value. The key is on the left. So in this column here, let me just do this. This is the key, and broadly speaking, this is the value of the key. And this way you can clearly see that, for example, for the phone number ID, this is our value. And for the assistant ID, this is our value. So we are going to use this assistant with this phone number, for example. And this is also what we tell VAPI. With the key phone number ID, we can tell VAPI exactly which phone number to use, which is exactly this one. And the same is true for the assistant ID and the assistant overrides, the customer information, etc., etc. Now, the specific values here are fairly simple. We have the customer, which is basically the metadata about the customer, and we have the name, and then a variable for the first name and a variable for the last name. Then we have the customer phone number in raw E.164 format, I think it is called. And then we have the customer email. Now, if you, for example, if you always called the same person, which is not realistic and not a good use case, but if you did, then you could just input fixed values into here. With like +49 173 XYZ, and now if we make this call, the agent will always have my name, that's just a random phone number, but a phone number here, and then my email address. But obviously this call is probably going to be different depending on whoever we are calling, and that's why we use variables. And these variables being first name, last name. Then we have the phone number. We get those variables, by the way, by clicking custom values and then going to contact, and then we can have the phone or the raw format. In this case, we need the raw format. Remove this, and now we are good. What the heck did just happen? Yes. And the same is true for the email address, but in this case, we can remove both. Custom values, contact, email. The phone number ID, as I've already explained earlier, is the exact phone number we have saved in VAPI. Because we are making our call through VAPI, we have to have two things in place: a phone number and a pre-made assistant. And this is the phone number. This is the assistant ID. By the way, if you're wondering how to make an assistant in VAPI, I have several videos on that on the channel. I will link the most up-to-date one up here somewhere on the screen. So if you haven't build an assistant on VAPI yet, definitely go and check that out and then come back to this video. And then we have the assistant overrides. So basically the assistant has a set of information, and with the assistant overrides we can dynamically override that information based upon which person we are actually talking to. And this is important to personalize the call, because the first message, for example, with "Hi, this is Matilda calling from XYZ property group. Am I speaking with?" Contact first name. If we had a fixed first name in here, obviously every single person we are calling would hear that first name, and we don't want that. That's why we use assistant overrides with a variable value. Then in the prompt itself, we also have several variable values, which are the first name, same up here, the last name, same up here, then the customer number, which is the same as here, and then the email address, same as here. Now, this is a very basic setup. You could go way more specific and way more in depth, but for the sake of this video, this is definitely enough. And with that, we can test the workflow. And to test the workflow, we can just save the action, go to test workflow. I'm going to search myself with my test account and then run the test. And as you can see, I will be getting a call very shortly. There it already is. I will not answer the phone right now, just because I don't want to bore you. But technically, if I took that call, I would be speaking to an AI agent. And yeah, this way you can trigger the outbound calls from GoHighLevel in a very simplistic way. And what we're going to do now is I will go onto another workflow and show you a real world use case on how you could actually implement this into your business, which would drive value. And so it's not that abstract for you guys. Okay, so here we are in a different workflow. This is, as you can see, an appointment reminder with a call workflow. And the goal of this workflow is basically when somebody books an appointment, they are being reminded about this appointment several times on different channels in different like time spacings. And the second last reminder is an actual voice call. This is something we are currently testing, or what we will test in our own agency in Eximus. And what we've seen is actually driving appointment attendance rate. And it kind of looks like this, very simplistic. The trigger in GoHighLevel is the actual appointment booked. So as soon as an appointment is booked, this workflow is being triggered and it will send an appointment confirmation email to the client. Then we wait until 7 days before the appointment to trigger the next step, which is to send the 7-day reminder SMS. Then we wait another 4 days to wait until 3 days before the appointment to then send the 3-day reminder email. Then we wait until 1 day before the appointment, and then with the custom webhook, we actually trigger the VAPI AI outbound call. We also send an SMS here, and what we normally would do is we would also send a 4-hour reminder and a 30 minutes reminder, just to basically spam the lead with reminders. Not too much, obviously, but like enough so they basically don't have a chance to miss the appointment. But also, if they know beforehand that they won't be able to make it, that they can tell us that they won't be able to make it, and then we can reschedule that. And this is also a major benefit of the voice agent call, because on the call we can literally ask the person, hey, will you be able to make it? Is there something that could happen that will hinder you from attending the appointment? And if the answer is yes, then we can reschedule on the call immediately, which is insanely powerful. And yeah, like that's the high level workflow. Is if we click into here, you will notice that basically everything is the same here. We have the action name, which is obviously different since it's a different action, but the event is still custom. The method is still post. The URL is also still API VAPI AI /call. The authorization is also still a bearer token with our VAPI API key, which is pre-saved and just selected. We don't use any headers. We do not use any query parameters, and the content type is still application JSON. And as you can see, we still have the raw body in here with all the custom values. A small difference is here, which is just like use case specific, which is the variable of the appointment date and time. So when we want the agent to call a lead in order to remind them about an appointment, then obviously the agent needs to know when this appointment is happening, and that's what we tell here. So this is the variable value. This is how it's mentioned in the system prompt, and we basically tell the agent, hey, the booked appointment date and time is this, and this is the variable for the actual date and time of the appointment. And now what we've covered today is quite simple. Just as a quick recap, on previous videos I showed you how to build a VAPI assistant, and on this video I actually showed you how you can trigger a call with that VAPI assistant within GoHighLevel. For those of you wondering now what the hell is going on after the call, how do we know if the call is being picked up? What do we do with the data after the call? That's the topic for the next video. And that video will teach you so many lessons that apply to so many things in Voice AI. So if I was you, I would make sure to be subscribed to this channel in order so you don't miss the next video coming out. That brings us to the end of this video today. If you want to see if a speed-to-lead voice AI system is relevant for you or your business, then click the first link in the description down below. It's a quick 2-minute lead leak check in which we just analyze where leads are being lost within your current processes. And I would definitely go and check that out. And and apart from that, thank you so much for watching until the end. Again, if you don't want to miss the next video, then definitely subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.